Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to our fifth session, a very, very special and exciting session of La Terreur et la Vertu. I am so eager to get into this session for this evening. We have a plethora of amazing role players with us here, beyond the scope of our usual incredible role players for tonight's session. Before we get into the action for tonight, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves and the characters we will be embodying for this session.
Hi, my name is Adam. I'll be playing Remy, your Sabat, dream-eating Malkavian.
I'm Jack. I will be playing Madame la Comtesse de Visage, the Camarilla Toreador.
Hi, I am Syrinx, and I will be playing Mayel Cadieux, the Gangrel Anarch.
Hello, I'm Chris, aka the Unemployed Writer, and tonight I will be playing Dorian Everast, the Toreador ex-sheriff for now.
Hi, my name is Bunny, and today I will be playing Julien de Leon, Herald of the Camarilla.
Hey, I am Tom, and tonight I will be playing Jean-Baptiste Hellier, the ex-Gangrel Primogen of the Camarilla.
Quite the star-studded crew for tonight's session. More stars than there are in the night sky that looms over Paris this night. As the revolution turns again, as though an entire cycle comes and goes and restarts once again at the dawning of a new night, as ironic as that is. During the day, there are revolutionary activities, counter-revolutionary activities, as there always is in Paris during this tumultuous time. There are whispers of people meeting in groups, wanting to take down the tyrannical rule of Maximilien Robespierre. Some of these people have these meetings and discuss plans and go off and make do with them, expound upon them and such. Other people don't get to that stage. They get caught, arrested in the process for meeting illegally, and hung, drawn and quartered, beheaded at the guillotine, sometimes the very same day. It is the matter of the times. However, despite this, there are brief, sporadic spots over the city where one can find refuge from this strange, euphoric society where everybody forcefully smiles, is happy, joyful, enthusiastic about all of the things that are going on under the rule of Maximilien Robespierre. One such Elysium, so to speak, from all of this make do, is the grand estate of the Palais Royal, very, very close to the center of the city, the central hub of the Reign of Terror, almost grotesquely so. It's almost comical how close this estate is to the architect of the Terror itself. Within its walls, debauchery reigns supreme in a way that emanates the decadence of pre-revolutionary France. There are drugs being sold in the center of its grand courtyard. There are illegal goods being sold at market stalls. Ladies of the night walking around the buildings, the halls outside. And all of this is lawful. Not in Paris, but within these walls, everything remains untouched by the violent cycle of time that we have seen over the past 5 years in this city, in this country, in this ex-kingdom, in this new republic. We open, to begin with this night, on the mistress of the house, Madame de Visage. As you awaken this night, Lucretia, I will get you to make a rouse check for me.
That is a failure.
Lovely. You
Just a
awaken
little nervous.
with a little hunger. This is a very big night for you, especially for your ambitions in this city. You awaken as usual next to your husband, Dominique, who awakens a little earlier than you usually and is seen writing down notes feverishly on a piece of parchment, making plans, arrangements, last-minute calls and things to tell people and notes to send off to courtiers and servants and such to make sure that everything runs smoothly for this night. He is the keeper of Elysium, after all.
Yes. She'll rise from bed. She'll probably go over and give him like a kiss on the cheek and see what he's writing down, just party planning. She will know that because it is here, she can dress up. So she doesn't have to waste time taking it off and putting something else on. So she does her personal toilet. She gets all of her like powders on, her rouge, her lips. She gets the wig from the last Elysium that she went to. This huge powdered pale grey wig with almost like a cage built in of these two like arching horns filled with new roses that she got. So just these hair and flowers built up into this huge arrangement. And she wears one of the biggest dresses she has because she knows how large everything is in here if she need be. So it's just this enormous hooped deep red dress with some of the like sewing and knitting involved that make it almost look like the Palace of Versailles, but in a dress. A treat from Julian.
Yes.
She gets all of that ready and then goes over to Dominique to offer any assistance if he needs any.
He sort of looks up at you. He's still, after you've done your toilet, his takes a lot less time than yours usually. And so he is dressed in the sort of pale pink and pale blue colors that signify the pre-revolutionary style. This sort of costume of noblesse and this kind of decadent beauty that was so prominently popular and powerful back in those days. He hands off the list that he was writing to one of the servants, and they head off out of your chambers into the rest of the estate and right to the back, the main hall of the estate where the Elysium will be held. He sort of, in a very human way, sort of breathes a deep sigh, looks up at you, shakes his head, and says, "I always plan these last-minute shindigs and think that it'll be good, but honestly, you need more time to plan these things. I don't know what I was thinking."
She immediately swoops in and like cups his face and kisses him on both cheeks, and she says, "No, my love, this is such a fantastic idea. Of course we should have this party. Any other time would be ridiculous. Oh, my Dominique, don't ever question yourself. No, my love."
Do you have any plans for this night, or is it just to be another form of momentary escapism?
Well, my love, it seems that we will have to unite some people. Again, under what was once the Ivory Tower, we must build it anew. But we have no prince, no leader. We have a sheriff, a harpy. We have a harpy and a sheriff.
Indeed. Some semblances of the old power, but nothing quite so concrete as what Vion gave us for many years, you're right.
But, my love, Dominique, is it so clear the owner of Palais Royal, the one who runs all of these events, brings everyone together, and with my support, would it not make sense that he of House Visage lead?
I am the most prominent estate owner, at least of the remaining Camarilla, you are correct.
And you're so beautiful and organized and smart. I love.
He sort of boops you on the nose, are biased. But I think you may be right. If we are able to corral people correctly, Especially with the way things are now,
Mm.
it could be possible. And with you, intelligent, beautiful woman you are, behind me, I don't doubt our efforts would be fruitful.
Course, of course. Our sect has been gone for a little bit of time. I think it is about the point we bring it back.
Mm. He nods solemnly, in agreement with you as
Yeah.
always. Now, to save time, I'll say that sort of as you are having this conversation, both Remy and Mayel arrive first at the Palais Royal and make their way through with the guidance of the servants who know who they are. You would have, and Dominique would have informed them of their arrival here. Make their way down through to your chambers. Now, as Remy and Mayel step into this room, how are both of them presenting themselves? How do they look? How do they present
Small
themselves for this?
detail. Would it be more possible instead of them coming to our bedroom that we gather in Odette's public toilet?
Yeah,
As
certainly.
it's a little bit more of a public
Mm-hmm.
space.
Yeah, absolutely. Sort of a large thing that's it sort of doubles as a toilet, so a sort of dressing room, and also a sitting room where it's clear that a lot of people often sit here and discuss things,
Boudoir.
talk, exactly, have conversation. So yeah, you can absolutely plan to meet there instead. But yes, Remy and Mael, I will get you both to make a rouse check for me and let us know what each of you are wearing. How do you look?
Failed that rouse check. So a little peckish. Remy is wearing a kind of plum jacket with a white vest underneath and a likewise a kind of matching plum colored sort of ascot. And he has a top hat. And his jacket has kind of longer tails than usual, looks a bit more ceremonial, fit to purpose. And the back of it is sort of a novelty shape as well. It kind of goes out wide and then narrows and wider again. It's actually shaped quite like a cello and sort of makes his whole body from behind. And then he's wearing a top hat, as he usually does. But this one is more of a costume piece. It has it matches the rest of the suit, but from either side there are these long protruding kind of like goat horns in a sort of exaggerated theater prop sort of manner. Everything else about the suit being very suit-like, but there's just that strange detail atop.
I did succeed my rouse check, so I am still in that awful silence.
Awful.
Maya, she did a very, very small attempt to dress up, being that she actually has a jacket with her this time. But other than that, she is still wearing pants and she's still wearing a kind of just plain white blouse. Um, I guess the jacket that she would have with her is kind of a deep green. And her auburn hair is pulled back in a sort of low ponytail, as per usual. She isn't wearing the jacket right now, she just has it with her. So it's like slung across her arm. But yeah, that is as far as she can go. Probably the only jacket that is in the pile.
On the floor. Plucking from the floor drove, just.
The floor drope.
Now, is there any conversation had between the three of you in preparation for the guests' arrival tonight?
I would imagine so. So with Odette's like large toilet setup, it's like a YouTube tutorial, these kinds of toilets. She's like being very public with how she's applying her rouge, and some of the other women in the room are like, oh, and copying her. But Lucretia is sitting in a corner, and there's like a small table by her side with like a cup of blood, probably, and seats for the two of you, as if she was expecting you. She'll wave you over.
Madame, the vision as always.
Evening.
Well, we have a great deal to talk about before all these guests get here. The party planning has been so stressful, but it is something that must be done. We will have quite a stressful situation on our hands, so what is the plan?
Yes, I believe the hors d'oeuvres are the least stressful consideration of the evening.
Mm.
This is our chance. Rakiel will not brook another evening wasted, to use his term.
So what will you be doing about your sects? I have mine in order, mostly.
Define in order.
What is your plan for the anarchs? It is difficult
No,
to put
please define having your clan in order for tonight. Do you mean they will behave? Do you mean they already support our ideas?
I mean, I have a
Very
plan
vague.
of how to unify them. And yours?
I talk to Francine
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see if she shows up.
Ah,
I have little doubt she will support you.
That's not the question here about whether or not she will support me. The question is about whether or not she thinks it worthwhile to already put herself in such a dangerous position to be here with both Sabat and Camarilla. So we'll see. The question isn't whether or not she will support me. The question is how we'll do that. When.
That's
I
fair
hope
enough.
she arrives. She is so fascinating.
I believe the question of whether she supports you has quite a lot to do with her estimation of you. Supports us, I should say.
Hmm.
I would not underestimate your influence. Even the Archbishop, I believe, was quite taken by your capacities, Maya.
You're
Being
insult
taken by
quite too
someone
hard.
doesn't mean that you support them.
I think Madame will agree with me when I say it is an excellent first step.
An opinion can be very driving.
I have likewise made some preparations to that end.
Oh. Do you know who will be in attendance tonight?
Well, it is as Mael says, we will see when we see.
Quite exciting.
Have you possibly made any arrangements to make sure that the Sabbat don't come barging in claiming that they want a Voldery?
Oh, yes, there will be rules in place for the Elysium. Yes, there will be discussion. If they wish to throw their weight around, then they will be escorted out and reported. All of our heads are on the line.
I may be alone in this supposition, but I am of the mindset that if anyone we have met so far decides to become violent tonight, that is quite likely a win for us.
Everyone is waiting for the moment to strike. Everyone aware that the first one to make that move will be the first to fall.
Indeed. I suppose what we most have to await is how the outcome of this evening affects Robespierre's imminent arrival.
Yes.
No doubt word of tonight will reach him at some point in the interim. Now, what tidings that word bears, who's to say?
I will also say there are rooms, she will detail very particular rooms near the edges of the Palais Royal that have specifically been done up quite nicely, but are mostly empty with like couches and stuff in them. These will be the rooms that you can, should you need privacy to convince an individual, you may use.
Now, there is one remaining question, logistically speaking, about how close we three remain to each other throughout the evening.
Not at all, where possible. Everything that we have done together has been behind curtains.
Most things. Although I anticipate some of your Ivory Tower friends will have questions about our former associations.
Yes, and I would be a bad hostess if I did not speak with all my guests. So we will be in contact, I am sure, but perhaps us being seen together will not be so bad. To have a member of each sect talking amiably with each other would be a prompt.
What I will do
Mhm.
is, should there be any who wish to discuss the matter with me, I will see if I can massage the conversation to the point where one of them will insist that I make sure that other sects will participate with us. And in only acquiescing to that request, maybe then I should come find you.
Monsieur, where me, you are so extraordinary. Yes, that is an excellent idea. Manipulation of the social spheres. I have missed working together so much in this way. Yes.
You
I
do
shall.
realize that for the both of you, any and all Camarilla who are still alive will probably already know that you get along quite well.
Oh, yes, yes. The kindred society is very small. We are all aware of each other's positions.
This is true. But then again, there are many people who have gotten on very well with both of us who no longer live.
The revolution has been very drastic with which side people are on and who they will side with.
Hey, look, all I'm saying is last thing I knew, you threw the lovely dance last Elysium that we visited. Well, technically,
Oh, you should
it
have
wasn't.
seen it, Nael. Oh, it was
I saw
stunning.
it, a part of it.
I
Oh,
must
you
confess,
sh-
the best improvised choreography I've ever been a part of.
Oh, Monsieur Remy, please,
Sure, I can
please.
take no credit for it.
Oh, no, none. None at all. You're so
Let's
kind.
hope last Elysium doesn't turn out the same at this Elysium. I mean,
No, no. This is my Elysium. It will go as I plan.
so this time you will jad on the fingers of those who dare to use disciplines in your space?
Of
You won't
course,
be the one
if we
breaking them?
allow people to be exerting their disciplines against the rules, I mean, we know what happens when the rules are broken in Paris. The guillotine.
It is at that moment that Monsieur Jean-Paul, the doorman at the Palais Royal, sort of bustles into the room, sweating profusely, red-faced, and in a flurry.
Oh, sure.
Comes up to you, specifically Lucretia, and whispers in your ear that the guests will be arriving shortly, Madame.
She probably the toilet is wrapping up at this point as well. She's like,
Absolutely.
everyone, the guests will be coming soon. Everyone into your positions. Everyone
Mhm.
starts moving.
Yes.
She pulls out her fan. She stands up, gets herself ready, and starts pulling it out. There is that moment where she kind of flicks it a little bit so that all the blades along the fan are shown to her, and she examines them and then flicks them back in. Well, it seems that the act will be beginning soon. I hope to see everyone try their best. Worst comes to worst, there are those rooms where you can also sequester yourself if you feel particularly unsafe.
The act begins. Break a leg.
Just so you two know, I will probably spend the beginning of the evening outside watching everyone.
Do not get jumped, my dear. And she'll um, start moving towards the entrance. You'll find Dominique.
Yes.
As
With
you
her.
leave,
Mhm.
I think she'll give a last retort to say, if someone wants to jump me, they would have to fall from the sky.
And with that, Mael, I'm assuming you make your way outside. Would you like to make yourself unseen when you get away from everyone, or would you like to remain seen?
I would very much like to make myself unseen. Thank you.
Certainly. I thought you might. If you are activating Unseen Passage, please make a rouse check.
Failure, hunger, sweet hunger.
And you would get that
Ooh.
failed rouse check eventually. As you, Lucretia,
Can I have
and
a sip before guests arrive?
Yeah, you had a sip before, in the toilet, so you're fine. If you can, if you
Okay.
want to lower your hunger back down to 1, I will allow you to take 1 point away. Since your blood potency is 2.
Got it. So just down to 1 hunger.
Yes.
Got it.
Mhm.
Lovely.
Yes. Both of you make your way through the Palais Royal to the back hall, as I mentioned, where the frivolities will be taking place. The exact hall where you visited the Camarilla Elysium prior to the revolution as well.
Mhm.
As you are standing there at the entrance, guests start slowly to arrive, kind that have been brought in to act as food sources for some of the more powerful kindred among the guestage, and some kindred as well. Neonates tend to arrive earlier than the more prestigious members of kindred society, of Camarilla society. Everybody who arrives on time, punctually, is of your sect, Lucretia. You do notice this. You would have seen them all before countless times within the very confined spaces that this estate offers. Out of our 3 power players, who arrives first?
I believe Dorian would want to arrive very punctually to survey the area, make sure everything is to standard. So, walking towards the area, you probably hear him whistling before you even see him, as he's just walking and whistling. And if Mael is looking and watching from the shadows, should probably catch a glimpse of this. He's wearing sort of a regal black jacket with gold accentuations, similar to what I'm wearing, with a white wig. But when there's no one around him, when he's by himself, he's very uncomfortable with. He's like fidgeting with it in between whistles and messing around with and muttering to himself as he makes his way and puffs out his chest and moves forward to greet his esteemed hosts.
Oh, Monsieur Evariste, welcome, welcome. I am sure you are here for our lovely security to ensure that the Palais Royal is safe while you are here.
Yes, I assume everything is up to standard here.
Of course, Monsieur Dominique
What
is
kind of
always.
security do we have?
Oh, well, I don't deal with the security myself. I just know that if you are here, it must be secure.
Dominique clears
look
his
at
throat, and looks at you, sort of looks down on you a little bit, Dorian. Somebody says we have 200 mercenaries stationed in and around the establishment, as well as hired people who have been paid generously for their continued cooperation. You can ensure that the militia we have on guard here this night rests at about 500-600 men. Rest assured that we are quite safe.
Background checks, everything is all
Of course.
above board. If you don't mind, I might do a once over. I am.
Oh, of
Sheriff, after
course.
all.
Yes, no, you must speak to the guards, walk around. I would love to see you back here in the Palais Royal like it is home again.
Indeed. And I trust things will run smoothly tonight because we all know how use of disciplines in Elysium is forbidden.
Oh, yes. And if you see any, please let me know. We cannot allow any discipline use amongst my Elysium for safety.
Your Elysium, indeed. I'd like to thank you very much for extending the invitation
Of course, Dorian.
in these troubling, troubling times.
If we can come together in these times to rally together as friends of old, then we have so much to benefit.
At this point, he'll notice that it's only the two of them.
Mm.
And he'll say, "Seems like we're one short of a full complement."
Oh, so you think that Julianne will be coming? Oh, I hope she does. She's so exquisite. It has been so long since I've seen. Madame Julianne, do you think she will come?
The Nosferatu wouldn't leave up an offer to peacock around. I wouldn't worry about that, but that's not who I was referring to.
Oh, who?
I believe there were 3 of you when I last encountered you.
She looks up at Dominique and she says, "Well, we do like having company some nights. Would you like to be the third tonight, Dorian?"
We'll see how tonight goes, my dear.
Oh, please, do your rounds. Do your rounds. Oh my
Indeed.
gosh.
Show me where the men are, and I will make sure that they're of good stock.
I'm sure you know your way.
If you head around to the west, follow them around. They will all be stationed along the wings.
He leaves.
Mm.
How far away to the west is the quite a distance, I'm guessing?
In the context of the Palais Royal, quite a distance, meaning it is probably about 300 meters to walk.
Okay. I think, what Dorian will do is he'll kind of inspect the places he's walking. He'll turn on heightened senses more out of habit than anything, of like being sure to be aware of everything. Not so much to gain an upper hand, but more to sense threats.
Certainly. I'll get a wits awareness from Dorian. Remember to add your aspects too, of course.
Make sure if it doesn't get intense, I don't give myself another blister from this fan.
Waving it so profusely that you...
I was like, ha ha, and then I was like, oh, my head.
That is a 3.
3 successes. Dominique and Lucretia weren't lying when they told you that it was the most above board, heavily catered for Elysium that has been put on for quite a while. Lucretia or Dominique must be very acutely aware of the political situation in Paris now. They don't lie. There are 500-600 men all on stand. Some of them are clearly of the National Guard or of foreign mercenaries even that have been paid generously. Others are clearly sort of lower class French people that have been paid handsomely as well, probably more money than they usually see in a year, to be here, standing with their muskets around the outside, within the courtyard, along the corridors, everywhere. There are guards, soldiers. You probably would have seen about 50 of them as you walked here. As Dorian works his way around and back to the Elysium Hall itself, who is the next to arrive?
Well, Jean-Baptiste would be slightly later than fashionably late.
Would be fashionably late.
So am I understanding it correctly that Julianne will come at that perfectly fashionably late moment? So Julianne is the next to arrive. How does she approach? With whom does she approach?
I believe that she would approach with others of her clan. They have all been, at least those that accompany her, also wear incredibly crafted dresses or suits, wigs, cosmetics, despite their currently showing disfigurements. They have been done up quite nicely. She, however, is either in the center or at the very front of the group. This powerful matriarch who is leagues beyond what they are in terms of the quality of dress and cosmetics. They look fine. Julienne looks exceptional. She has one of those ornate masks attached to an ornate stick that she places in front of her face as she walks toward the location. And her beauty extends even further than the visual. Her perfume is expensive and an unseen compliment to her beauty. And the sound of her shoes and the way that her dress shifts against each other is almost melodic. The only thing that is slightly off is how tall she is.
Remy, Lucretia, you see this woman. You know her well, Lucretia. Surrounded
yes.
by like you said, sort of looking like her children in a way. All shorter, all smaller than her, literally looking up to her, carrying her things in some cases, and trailing behind her obediently and almost reverently.
There's this like she wants to just like squeal and be very girlish when she sees Julienne, but I think the visuals of her coming in is enough, and she just keeps her fan in front of her face. She kind of just pats Dominique on the forearm and is like, "Oh, she came. Oh, she's so stunning. Uh, Mademoiselle Julienne de Lyon. Oh, Mademoiselle, you are exquisite. Welcome home."
You so much, my darling. You look divine. Thank you for the invitation.
My favorite designer made this dress for me.
Oh, I can see.
Mm. Oh, I am so excited. Dorian is here. Dominique. Oh, it is like old times again.
Yes. How have you been, darling? Things have
Oh.
been so unique as of late.
Oh, truly, I have had to struggle so hard to find any form of substance here, but being in the Palais Royal has made everything so much easier. My toilets are dragging on. Getting powder is so expensive, but
Uh,
I'm making do during these times.
oh, it is difficult.
It must
But
be all this material that you must get. How are you, my dear? It must be. Oh.
it has been hard. It
Oh.
has been hard, but you know, as any powerful woman must, we must continue moving forward.
Of course, we must be the front that people can live in. Isn't that right, Dominique?
Of course, especially in these times, as you say. I can only pray that they are over soon and we see ourselves return to the opulence we share in these beautiful places we still hold dear.
I did not have my love, Dominique. I do not know what life would be like for me.
Oh, but you do. So perish any negative thoughts about a life without your love.
Anything that you say, Julianne, anything. It's purged from my mind. Not even a thought.
Oh, good. Did you say that Dorian was here?
Yes, he is doing a security check. He so wants to be in charge, and he is so sweet, is he not?
Oh, he is. Something.
Most
Mm.
definitely something. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Please come in, have a drink. We have a large selection.
Ah, thank you very much. Hopefully, we will get to talk and you won't be too busy with everything.
I guarantee, my dear. I guarantee.
Oh, good, good. Darlings, inside.
They all follow you as you make your way in. Where is Remy in this encounter? Is he with Lucretia? Is he inside?
No, I don't think he'd be with Lucretia. I think he would be in the sort of main gathering area and probably at the moment alone. But Remy would have the vibe of that person who's alone early at the party and just is unbothered by that.
Yeah.
It's just like very sort of bemusedly looking around, admiring the decor, like has maybe found a bookcase. Who knows?
My friends will get here when they get here.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like maybe there's a beautiful portrait or something like that.
Oh,
He'd be
there will
drawn
be,
to
yeah.
art. If there's art around, I
Oh,
think he'd
yes.
be appreciating it.
Salacious stuff.
Yeah, more the better.
Yeah, that's right. Definitely not the revolutionary realism of Jacques-Louis David. This is old school sort of probably more similar to what you're familiar with, Remy, from your past, where you come from. Things like this, maybe.
Old times. Old times. All
Indeed.
old times.
Julien, you see this familiar face from years ago, sort of standing a little way down the hall as you come in, admiring one of the art pieces on the walls. But before we get into that, after some time, after Julien goes in, her children scatter to various locations throughout the palais, throughout the hall. Jean-Baptiste Hellier, Monsieur, how do you appear when you arrive here? A little bit more than fashionably late.
Well, Jean-Baptiste will arrive with 4 members of his herd, 2 on each side, flanking him. 4 of the most attractive members of his herd, naturally.
Of course.
He is dressed in all black clothing, slightly too tight. Wearing a very short white wig and also with some powder on his face, if nothing more than to hide how pale it is otherwise. And he will stride in confidently with perfect posture and head straight to the bar.
Does he say
I
hello?
think Lucretia would more squeeze very faintly the wrist of Dominique for him to greet.
Yeah, sure, certainly. As you sort of head up to the door, Jean-Baptiste, Dominique does try to sort of sidestep into your way a little bit and puts out his hand for you to shake.
Dominique, I will shake his hand and give him a low bow as well.
It is wonderful to see you this night. How are you? You have been shut away in your quarters quite often lately. It's wonderful to see you again after such a long time.
Yes, busy nights, busy nights. It is great to see you as well. And your beautiful wife as well.
She's looking as
even
radiant as
longer.
ever.
Sure. It is a. How have you been?
Oh, incredible. What have you been up to lately?
Oh, a great deal, of course, as you will see all of the effort placed into this event.
She's done a
tonight.
marvelous job.
Oh, Dominique,
looks
no,
as
it is your planning that has done this. Please.
Please, you two would make a great pair. I can tell this is the work of both of you.
You are correct, as always, Monsieur Hellier. I was worried a little, to be perfectly frank, that you would not come this evening. I'm overjoyed to see you. If I may be so bold as to ask, what has inspired your, overwhelmingly, extravagant, lovely attendance tonight?
Well, I would not miss a party such as this one. And, again, the reputation of you two precedes you. One of your parties? Hell, I'm not going to miss that.
A wise
Yes, of
decision.
We must all come together sometimes.
Indeed, it is the best for us at this point in time.
There are drinks inside.
I'll take my leave then.
Absolutely. You
Mhm.
head on inside, and Lucretia and Dominique probably do behind you as the sort of main flurry of guests come in as well. All of these lesser kindred and such of the Camarilla come inside.
Before the next guest comes, she makes just like a very quiet gagging. She's like, "Ah."
Yeah, Dominica it sort of pats you on the shoulder as if to say,
Yeah.
you did very, very well. Hmm.
She's like,
Yeah.
I can do this.
Mael, outside, is there anything in particular you are watching for, or are you just scouting around?
I think I recognize some of the more important faces arriving, and as the kind of now people are arriving, it's getting on track. I think I will try to look for anyone that is trying to stay hidden or anything that's watching, that's
Mm.
not wanting to make themselves known or entering. Um, but I think I'll stay at least like maybe 15 minutes more to see if the Sabbat or any anarchs arrive early.
Mm.
I'd like to see that because at this point, I don't think Mael sees any benefit of her being inside with all the camis.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I will check.
Great. In that case, I'll get you to make a resolve awareness roll for me. To see what you see, if you see.
To see what I see, if I see.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
My little note card. If you're looking at the art, Remy, you would see that there would be, while it's lots of different artists and stuff, there it's broken up these really like salacious art pieces with works from Madame Vigée-Lebrun, who was the first artist to like paint herself showing her like teeth, and she did one of the pieces of I can't believe I just forgot the Queen's name.
Marie Antoinette.
Marie Antoinette in her like smaller white gown and smaller wig and stuff like that. Like she was quite the front of fashion art. So that is sporadically throughout.
Good to know. Thanks.
I got 4 successes for my
Ooh.
scouting thing.
Great. Outdoors, you find a group of 5 people. Among them, you immediately recognize both Eleanor and Sebastian, the other members of Remy's pack. And as you get closer, you can hear that they are indeed... The best way I can describe it is they are hyping each other up. They're like, one of them says, one of the ones you don't recognize says, look, we really shouldn't be here. This is a terrible idea. I just want to go home. There's a reason we haven't gone to this place in 5 fucking years. We're all going to get killed. And Eleanor says, honestly, Remy wouldn't have asked us to come here in good faith if he didn't think that we would all be safe. He's very careful about that. And look, he got Sebastian out of prison just last night. He's extremely put together about these sorts of things. And then one of the others says, oh, that's just the fucking Voldery talking. Like, fucking hell, this is not going to be good. They're not even going to allow us to use discipline. You know how these things work? And they just sort of argue back and forth in this way.
Lovely. I will not intervene because I don't think I can comfort them in any way. Do I by any chance spot any animals who are very interested in this place?
Any animals? Ooh. With 4 successes, I will say that you do spot the odd rat, the odd bird scurrying around. There's not a whole lot of them, but the fact that they are sort of running around in plain sight and not rushing for cover suggests that their behavior may not be entirely natural or entirely of their own will, if that makes sense.
It's good to know that Barakiel is here in spirit.
Yep.
All right then. I saw the little pack, but I'm not gonna go inside and warn Remy or anything like that. I think he'll be pleasantly surprised to see them enter.
Mhm.
As I said, I will remain outside for about like 15 more minutes to see if any other Sabbat or Anarchs.
Yeah, certainly. I'll say that in the 15 minutes you wait, you don't see anyone outside of the Camarilla arrive. There are some latecomers to the Camarilla session, from the Camarilla sect. So you see some of these people come in, but nobody who you instantly recognize as Sabbat, or Anarchs, people that you are familiar with yourself. So as you wait and eventually make your way in, as Dorian also sort of does this long lap essentially of the Palais Royal, sussing it out, making sure that everything is properly secure as it should be. We head for the first time inside to Remy admiring these pieces that are on the walls of this grand hall. Julien, you recognize him as a member of the Sabbat who came to this place a few years ago now, before all of the revolution began, when things were still firmly in your sect's hands. Is there anything you would like to do here?
I think Julianne would watch for a little bit, inconspicuous, murmurings with her children, inconspicuous things, perhaps even looking at other art pieces that are more near her, but taking side glances. And then eventually she will kind of walk over, but more in the sense of she's following the art pieces and, oh, there he is. What a coincidence.
When Julien gets close enough, Remy will tear his eyes away from the painting. I mean, he's basically just been making sustained eye contact with the very realistic painting of this woman, and then we'll turn and just bow quite low, like keeping a hand on his hat to keep it from falling, and then bringing it back up, horns and all, and say, may I be, if not the first, and certainly not the last, to congratulate you on the grandeur of your entrance, madame.
Thank you very much, Remy. It is a delight to see you here this evening. I see you have taken an interest in this here painting.
Ah, it is entrancing, to say the least. And I am delighted to see you remember my name after all this time.
Of course. I remember all individuals that pique my interest. I have a very good memory and a nose of figuring things out.
Ah, of course. Well, then it is a double honor of mine to be thought interesting.
Of course. How have you been?
Ah, well. Stimulated. It has been an exciting few years, to put it politely.
We must always be polite these nights.
Strangely, in the midst of the greatest barbarisms, it seems, that is when such perspectives pay off.
Well, it always pays to make friends, not enemies. I've always thought to myself that to understand another person, to hear their desire, their wants and needs, it goes a long way. As if you don't mind me saying, scandalous as it may sound, the world does not revolve around moi.
Now I know you are speaking in jest.
Ah, well, maybe a little. But in all honesty, I I do mourn for what was lost, and I do despair of the beauty that has been tainted. It is unfortunate.
Yes. You know, despair is the absence of hope. I should think you are the kind who has feasted deeply on hope in your time. Am I correct?
Hope does have a unique flavor.
So indeed does despair.
Yes, well, all emotion has its spice.
Indeed.
Anger is a particular. Well, I try not to engage in it too often. It is not good for the complexion, you see.
Ah, of course. And of course, has been the easiest to find as of late, thus
Yes.
decreasing its value.
So droll, so very, very droll. But what is your favorite flavor, Remy?
Ah. Well,
It is just us chickens in the hen. Do not be afraid.
now. You and I both know we are both foxes.
But it is so fun to play pretend, Remy. Indulge me.
Very well then, birds of a feather.
Hmm.
I enjoy dreamers, flights of fancy, miring swamps of dissent and discontent, impossible ideals. And it is romantic, I know, but I find them exquisite.
It is France. Romance is what we are made of. Perhaps we can arrange something and taste some dreams together some evening. That is, if you aren't afraid.
I would be delighted, and unlike many, I quite enjoy the taste of my own fears.
Good. They are a favorite of mine.
Well, I can see that my suspicions are confirmed. You are indeed a lady of taste. And I'll bow again.
All consuming, some might say. I will leave you to admire your painting, and I am sure I will find time to admire you once again. If you do find that other uh, accomplice, acquaintance of yours, I have seen darling Lucretia, and I have seen you. There was a third, was there not?
Over the years, there have been many. But if anyone who should be of such interest to you appears, well, perhaps I will let you know.
Wonderful. It has been a delicious experience as always, Remy.
Ah, but only the second course of many.
We will speak soon.
Farewell.
And with that, the conglomerate of power players, of guests here, congeal in this grand hall of art, of architecture, of grand design in many which way, reminiscent, as I said, of an age gone, struck down by the terrors of revolution, but still more than a relic in this sense. I will ask Dorian, as everybody comes in together, Mael, do you come in and make yourself seen, or are you still obfuscated now?
If I'm assuming the pack is still hyping themselves up and haven't entered yet.
Arguing now. Looks like it's gonna turn violent, maybe.
I will enter obfuscated.
Great. Mm-hmm.
And as I pass by Lucretia, I will whisper to only let her know that I will still remain unseen for a bit, but I'm going to convey a message to Remy. So.
It's a very quiet, like, bonjour, as you come in.
And that is exactly what I will do. I will obfuscate my way into the room and towards Remy.
Great. In that case, I will leave Dorian for a moment, and in the room, amongst you all, are there any conversations you are just dying to have?
What Lucretia is doing whenever she is not engaged with like one of the people here,
Yeah.
she is on the arm of Dominique at all times, and she's currently kind of just, where possible and with Dominique's help, gathering support for him, basically, kind of like upping him as the owner of the Palais Royal and being like, look, we finally have an Elysium to come together in. Wouldn't it be lovely if we could do this more together again? That's what she's doing.
Great.
But
Charisma
she will
etiquette.
Do my stunning looks play into this?
Yes. Add 2 dice to the
So-
roll.
2 dice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you'll ultimately make your way where?
I think to. I don't want to engage with Remy too soon.
Mm-hmm.
I will likely send Dominique to have a quick word with Remy, just to literally be like, Lucretia said that she can't see any Sabat people. Where are they?
Right.
And making sure not to interrupt Viola and him, of course. And then she will ultimately make her way to Jean Baptiste.
We will do that next then. Mm-hmm.
So I build this pool down. Etiquette. And then 2 for my stunning Nephilim.
Yes.
That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with a crit.
A regular crit?
A regular crit.
Okay, cool. As far as you can tell, people seem to understand the line you were spinning. Dominique is benevolent. He is a good listener. He is kind to the younger kindred, which is rare among the sort of stereotypical notions of Camarilla elders and such. And you seem to, yes, indeed, and is capable of throwing parties at a night's notice, of which they are reaping the benefits currently. I will get from the rest of you, all of you, I'll get a wits awareness roll.
Remy will at some point be activating Sense the Unseen as well, just out of curiosity.
Cool. I'll get a wits auspex from you as well.
Okay.
Everyone can make a wits awareness?
Everyone.
Would I be able to use my auspex for this?
Mm-hmm. In what case? What would you... Oh, right. Your heightened
yeah.
senses. I understand.
And then
yeah.
if I don't see anything, then perhaps I will observe the other lens.
Yes, certainly. I understand. Yeah, add your auspex if you have heightened senses.
I'm the same.
Watch-
I wouldn't have turned off my heightened senses.
No, absolutely not.
There's a lot of horse.
Watch all of us who succeed on this roll just a minute before the Sabat come barging in, we hear it outside. You're like, Baldery! Baldery!
Also, whilst this is going on, just after he's walked in, Jean Baptiste will have gone straight to the bar, got himself a drink, and then just be mingling with both the mortals in the room and the younger of the kindred present.
Great.
Considering expanding his organization, if you will.
Yeah, awesome. 7 successes? Wow. 3.
Does anyone remember off the top of their head what the bonus is?
It's just for heightened senses?
No, blood potency.
If your blood potency is 3, which I think it is, you add just 1 extra dice.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be doing that.
I had
Welcome.
I think I had 2 for the regular wits awareness and then 4 for the sense unseen.
Okay, great. Awesome. I'm gonna make a roll.
4 successes for heightened senses.
Mhm.
6 successes for sense the unseen.
Okay. Wow. I'm looking for 4 successes for Sense the Unseen. Is that what you got, Remy? Yeah, cool. Julien, I imagine there are a lot more of your clan's members here than what originally meets the eye. Remy, you see probably about 30 of these beings scattered around the room. That
30.
about 30, I would say.
Wow.
Could I add in a little flavor and say
Of
that
course.
those that are currently not seen are those that perhaps didn't feel comfortable being dressed up. They didn't want to be seen, so they aren't dressed to the nines.
Yep. All of these members of Julien's clan. Now, for everybody who did the wits awareness and got 4 successes or more, so Julien, yeah, you got 4, 4 as well, and Dorian, you also got 7.
I've got 7.
Yeah. Dorian, you're keenly aware of this because you're waiting for something terrible to happen tonight. This kind of meeting is bound to go poorly. You know what these kindred are like. Julianne, you are more sort of keyed into the room. You're more comfortable in these environments, and so you're able to stretch your senses out a little further than those who are less comfortable. In any case, you both sort of catch wind of this almost marketing campaign that Lucretia is on, wherein she is talking up her husband to literally everyone in the room, making a big show of his abilities, his goodness, his potential in the Camarilla. You can make of this what you will, but
Well hidden, I think, amongst just like, isn't my husband lovely? Doesn't he dress great? Isn't
Yeah.
he organized? Don't you like him? Like, it's not so obvious, but you guys know her well enough
We can-
that this is
yeah.
how she
Yeah.
operates.
We can pass through what you. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And Lucretia, you slowly but surely make your way over to Monsieur Hellier, who is speaking in a large group of people currently.
A quick out of character question.
Yes.
Does Jean-Baptiste have are there drugs that he usually has when he comes here? Because like there's so many drugs here. Or does he try to avoid it?
He certainly wouldn't try to avoid them, but they're not something that he necessarily seeks out.
Alright. Okay. I think she'd probably on her way over find one of her completely blitzed little drug blood bag people. And we'll come over to the group. She'll give like a little curtsy to everyone as she kind of just appears at the edge of this group. Monsieur Jean-Baptiste, how now that we have a bit more privacy to speak, I would be very interested to hear what you have been doing over the years.
Lucretia. What I have been doing over the
It's
years.
Madame Visage, actually.
Would you like me to answer your question or not?
Oh, most definitely, yes.
Well, I suppose you would know, seeing you are somewhat part of our organization, that Camarilla itself hasn't been overly busy
No.
due to circumstances.
Hmm.
I have simply been expanding my own organization and ensuring.
Morgangrel.
No, not exactly.
Oh.
Simply securing my own industry and longevity, let's say.
What are you selling?
Not selling, storing, I think is a more accurate term.
What are you stockpiling? I could always use more makeup if you have some. It is a pain to find more rouge these nights.
I could only imagine. No, based on the difficulties a lot of our members have been facing, I've been stockpiling blood.
Oh, I see.
I'd
That
be happy to
is-
share it with you. It would cost you,
Oh.
of course, but
Money is no issue at all. I have all the blood I need. Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm sure you have taken a drink. Fresh. I am sure that bags would certainly fit some taste.
that's not what I was suggesting.
Oh, you will have to enlighten me. I'm so sorry. Our time apart has had me quite addled.
Clearly,
Mm.
I, I'm not quite understanding this confusion. I have a group
You
of
are
people.
kidnapping people and storing them away? You
Not
are
at all.
making bags? You
Not
are...
at all. Kidnapping. You think so lowly of me?
I
I
am trying
cannot
to
believe it.
understand. You are being very aloof.
I simply have a group of people who I collaborate with.
Oh, the Church of Reason.
You bring that name into this place?
Anyone can voice their beliefs in this place, can they not?
Are you
You
of the
seem-
Camarilla?
There is no Camarilla until
What
there's a
do you
prince.
call this party?
This is an Elysium.
An Elysium, yes. And who
Yes.
typically runs those?
Oh yes. Oh, my husband Dominique. He is so impressive and
I am not
organized.
talking of the person that typically runs those. I'm talking of
Oh,
the
you are
sect
so aloof,
that typically runs
Jean-Baptiste.
those.
Please.
Please, if you had a semblance of understanding, you'd know exactly what I was talking about.
Yes, but it seems I lack that quite a great deal, so I will need you to explain it to me.
Well,
I'm
let's
at a
see.
party with my friends, and I have not seen you in some time.
True. Well, Elysium, firstly, typically a gathering hosted by the Camarilla. So
Yes.
the existence of an Elysium suggests the existence of a Camarilla.
Yes, but we know that you are the ex-Primogen.
So which sect do you belong to?
Well, if I had one, it would be the Camarilla, but
There
there's
you
none.
go. Secondly, the Church of Reason is a excuse for a church that Robespierre himself has invented to further portray his own arrogance and hold over this country.
Oh, so you
And
do not
by
like Robespierre.
claiming that one of us would be a part of it is not only insulting, but quite rude, I would suggest.
Oh, my God, I did not know. I thought I had heard people speaking about it in the streets. I had a guard tell me that it was the Cathedral de Notre Dame had a banner, Church of Reason. I thought it was the new belief. I have not quite left this place, really.
Manipulation, subterfuge, add your innocence, wits, insight.
Yeah! Manipulation, subterfuge with innocence.
Wits insight. Does my motive specialty add to this potentially?
Do you have a motive in trying to
Yeah,
oust
definitely.
Lucretius?
You can try and
Yeah.
suss out why she's being
Yeah.
like this to you.
Mm-hmm. Certainly.
So-
Add your specialty too.
Innocence.
Because I am walking away from my previous conversational partner and into the place entire, would I hear any snippets of this?
I don't think. I
Absolutely.
think Jean Baptiste is trying to draw attention to this conversation. Am I correct in
Okay.
assuming so?
Most definitely.
Both
I
Lucretius-
you and
if Lucretius-
Dorian
Yeah.
hear this
I
because of
would-
your wits awareness.
I would like to posit. This is something we can go to in a bit, but maybe myself and Julian are in midst conversation while this is happening.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yes, if Lucretia is suggesting that high-ranking members of the Camarilla are supporting the Church of Reason,
Absolutely not. I got
he
7
would want everyone
successes.
to know about it. I only got 5.
Mm-hmm.
Her motive seemed well. I guess that it seems like she hasn't been outside. This chick has been in here looking at herself in a mirror, and she is throwing hot words out into the room.
Yeah.
Yes, well, you do seem to know a lot about the current state of the Notre Dame, but
Of course.
thinking of it
Beautiful
with
building.
Robespierre's own symbolism covering what a sacred place that is
Do you not like Robespierre?
sickening. Do I not like Robespierre? Do I really need to answer that question?
Well, yes. I'm sure there are some people here who do like him.
Are you one of them?
Well, I haven't quite heard him speak before. I'm not sure what
Yes,
this
but
Church of Reason is about.
you are aware of the terror that's killing thousands of humans and kindred alike every
Oh,
day.
yes, I was there for the king, yes. Oh,
Oh, yes.
horrifying. But
Not
it
only
is...
the king, mind you,
Mm.
but yet you're still not sure whether or not you like Robespierre.
Is he the one running this? Because if so, we should definitely band together to get rid of him.
Yes, I think that is a fantastic idea.
Oh, excellent. She turns around and she walks away.
I will pause
Yes.
that conversation there and go briefly to if Dorian
Yeah. I see.
if Dorian
ahead.
ends up seeking out Julienne as she walks away from Remy in the room.
Indeed, I think so.
Mm.
I think Dorian, he can't turn off. It's like he's that bouncer that comes out to a club and is always looking on the lookout. And he's on his way towards Remy, and that's when he comes across Julienne. And he says, "My dear Julienne, radiant as always, I see. What a pleasure to see you tonight."
Overwhelming pleasure to speak with you, Dorian. How have you been?
Oh, you know, it's been dreadful, really. This unpleasantness that we all find ourselves in. Yourself, I imagine you're in very similar circumstances.
Things have been difficult. I have been trying to produce art, and in so doing, produce hope, and in so doing, create life. But it appears that the world conspires against me. Though I do believe that there will come a time where things may change.
I would very much like to see this art, my dear. To see the hope that you're trying to bring to this place.
I brought some with me, actually.
Well, we'll have to book a time in order to look and peruse through the art. But have you been hearing what your dear ward has been spilling into people's ears tonight?
Perhaps, but to enlighten me, I do like when a man speaks at length.
You do know how to get to a man's heart, my dear.
Right through the chest.
Well, Lucretia has been talking her man up, so to speak.
Well, what is any good woman supposed to do?
I just thought it interesting, that's all.
I
Intriguing.
think it's rather normal.
And where does
Do
that
you-
leave you, Julianne?
How do you mean?
Well, we all know your ambitions. No need to sugarcoat it. If if your ward is championing another, that goes against what you want, right?
Is that what you think?
Well, that is why I'm asking you to enlighten me.
Hmm.
Perhaps I'm mistaken.
I think that my affiliation with my ward is a multi-leveled relationship. I am a woman, she is a woman. We must stick together, especially in these dire times. She is wedded and to the keeper, so why not advertise his expertise? I see nothing wrong with this.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I was just curious.
It does not get in the way of my hopes and dreams.
I surely hope not, my dear. Speaking of your ward, I see she's chatting up our dear friend there, the Gangrel Primogen, well, ex-Primogen,
Oh, is
Jean
that what he
Baptiste.
is?
Yes. I'm sure it's an enlightening conversation between the two of them.
It is at this point you hear those buzzwords as you both key into that conversation. The Church of Reason, the Notre Dame, Robespierre, do you not like him?
I think that might be our cue, my dear.
Indeed, interesting conversations are being had.
How very fun.
Well, you must show me your art later on tonight.
Of course. Give me the word and I will blow your mind.
You both head over to the pair who are in the middle of the room talking amongst the sort of group that Monsieur Hellier has amassed. While this is happening, Mayel, do you do anything here?
I was actually making my way over to Remy.
That's right.
Perfect timing that his conversation companion has left him. I will go over to him, stand behind him, look at the art for a moment. Not that anyone can actually see that, and just like not get it. Before she whispers to Remy, well, fascinating as this may be, I think there's something more fascinating for you outside.
I am very curious to learn more about your tastes.
Your pack and some others are outside. They seem to be hyping themselves up, but I think it's going to get physical. You may want to perhaps go outside and make sure they actually make it to the party.
Thank you, Mael, as always. Your unerring sense of timing serves you well. And then Remy's gonna turn on a heel, and then Mael, you had 4 successes on the obfuscate, is that right?
No, I
Just wanna
didn't
make sure.
roll obfuscate.
No.
That was the wits awareness.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I'm totally mistaken then. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe I don't see you. I wasn't sure if
No.
if I had enough to see or not. Gotcha. And then Remy's going to tip his hat to no one, and and then stroll over. And what Remy's going to do is find someone who looks like a servant.
Plenty
Like,
of them around.
And then it's just going to lean over and ask the servant to walk out the front steps and kindly invite the guests of Monsieur St. John to meet him in an appointed room, and he's gonna point one of the private rooms that
Yes.
Lucretia sort of set up for this purpose. He's gonna ask the servant to take these people through a different entrance or through a different road to that room, and he'll meet them there.
Yeah, absolutely. At your request, they go off and do so right away, knowing that they are at the beck and call of all of the more esteemed guests here tonight. As you are doing that, as Julienne and Dorian are having the conversation as they move over towards the other two. What ensues here?
I think she's ready to leave at the mention of like, yes, we should get together. She's like, all right, done. I don't want to be here anymore. But I think as she goes to turn, she probably sees the incoming Julian and Dorian. And it kind of turns into this twirl. She just does this very elegant spin in this huge dress and turns back around. She says, oh, yes, it is together in harmony that we will all rise up again into the ivory tower, like you said. Oh, Mademoiselle Julienne, Monsieur Dorian, come in. We were discussing the days of old of the Camarilla.
Now here are two faces I have not seen in far too long.
Indeed, good chap. Well, I will say that the almonds here are acceptable.
Of
Well
course.
done. Send your regards.
Oh, to
I
the
did
love of
notice
my
that
life.
on the way in.
But I couldn't help but notice such an enlightening conversation across the hall.
Oh, of course. I want to ensure that everyone's beliefs are able to be spoken in this Elysium.
Mm.
And I was wondering where Monsieur Elier's beliefs lie, as I am well aware that he struggles to find them sometimes.
Not at all. Though I was simply expressing my issue with certain members of, well, the Camarilla, expressing sympathy towards Robespierre and his.
She looks around. Sympathy.
That's
Where?
what it sounded like to me.
Oh no, not an opinion. From you?
Oh, don't try to turn this around. You were talking up the cult of the Supreme Being.
Up,
Because
it
that's
was
what it is, a cult.
an inquiry.
You know
Where
all about
do
that, dear chap.
oh, where do you stand on this Church of Reason, Robespierre?
Yes, what are your stances?
Out of character. What do I know about this? About this church?
Okay. So it is a religion created by Robespierre after many of the Catholic priests in France failed to swear fealty to the nation over like the Vatican and the Pope. So Catholicism became really unpopular and sort of blacklisted from society. And so Robespierre created this cult of the supreme being or cult of reason, which basically worships ideas of the individual, of utility and merit. It's like a cult of man, essentially, wherein each sort of person, each human is divine, in their own
being.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all divine. We all
Yeah.
strive towards liberty and power and justice
Yes.
in our own ways.
Indeed. And if you are not behaving as a supreme being,
Yes.
you are a stain on French society, and it is used as a method of arrest and execution and such. Mm-hmm.
You're dragging down all of Paris, and
Yeah.
you are beheaded.
Further proof of Robespierre's tyranny, if you ask me.
Well, it is a idea, for sure. But we cannot forget where this idea has led in the context to where we
Oh.
are now.
Yes, it is very difficult. So you do not like him?
No, I despise him.
Oh, I see. She like blushes a little bit, like, oh yes, you're always very firm with the things you believe. What about
Indeed,
you?
there's no point in tiptoeing around. In fact,
Hmm.
we are, if you ask me, this party, as lovely as it
Thank you so much.
is distracting from the real issue.
Oh,
The issue of where we currently are. Where we find ourselves in our sect.
Oh,
Because
in
we
our
are all
sect.
Camarilla, I believe.
We were.
Although,
Yes.
where?
You are the
Lucretia's making me question that point.
ex-sheriff, ex-RP. We cannot be Camarilla without a prince, right?
We cannot be Camarilla without the removal of Robespierre.
It seems that the two are more intertwined than we think. As we stand here, we are four kindred who seem to believe in the same thing, but we have no unifying banner to really build our strength. She looks around at all the other neonates that are here and stuff. Our sect is here, but it is not at the same time. It would be easier to remove this Robespierre. She whispers that very quietly. If we are not a unified front, right?
There's no point declaring praxis until there is a state to declare praxis over. I don't understand what you're claiming.
I think, well, you keep saying Camarilla, but if we have no prince, we cannot be the Camarilla. I think that's what I'm struggling with.
You are all bothered by this petty politics.
That is what the Camarilla is.
You brought it up, Monsieur.
Look,
Calm down. Our inner darkness does not. It feeds on things such as rage. Let us temper our darker selves with our higher understanding of our condition.
what
Go
you are
on.
saying is not without merit. We do need a leader. But I also believe Jean-Baptiste is correct. If we are to claim praxis, as it were, if an individual would, we'd be too distracted by that. We need to strike when we can. And now is the time. So, we
Would
are
you
left
be
in a
the
bit of a
one
conundrum.
wielding the blade?
I will wield the blade into any battle.
Ah, what about you, Jean-Baptiste? Would you be wielding the blade?
Right price, I can give you an army.
Right.
Ah, so
Armies do not come for free.
I don't think if you were trying to attack Robespierre, would you want to have? I don't think an army would do it if he's just one man.
How do you intend to get past the National Guard?
Oh, I would never strike him. No, I'm not a fighter. By no means. This is hypothetical by chance.
Yes,
right?
hypothetically, how would you get past the National Guard?
Oh, well, if I was to try to strike at Robespierre, I think I would. Oh, I would disguise myself as a woman of the night. And I would move through and get his attention with my wiles. And when we were in the room together, I would say, Your Church of Reason has armed my friends. How dare you? And after a night of pleasure, I would kill him.
You will simply kill him.
Yes. He is just a man, is he not?
You're not the best at planning, are you?
Bite your tongue, Jean-Baptiste. Bite your tongue. This party did not come together without great difficulty.
Without
The
your husband?
organization. Yes, my beloved Dominic. He did so much for
But
this. She will not say that I am bad at it.
But also with your assistance as well. This, as I said, it's a lovely gathering.
Behind every powerful man is a gentle woman to guide.
Except for Robespierre.
A tragedy.
Hmm.
In
So
this
what-
hypothetical situation, perhaps an army is not the first thing. Maybe it could be something that happens in the future, but to go in with blades and hate and to strike at him
Like a dog.
like a dog, it is also
Barbaric, idiotic, dangerous.
Lucretia, dear. I am speaking.
My apologies.
Your passion is noted. I think that we cannot simply attack him in the current circumstances. We need to change the circumstances, make it so that he is less popular. And it appears that, well, from what I hear, he is already doing that for us. He has killed his friends, and the people who liked said friends are now looking upon him with hypothetical suspicion. We have a chance to fan the flame.
Who were the two people he killed? What are their names?
Georges Danton
George Danton.
and Camille Demelon.
I think she completely unprompted gasps quite loud to the room and says their names like, oh, no, oh, he killed them? And then returns to the conversation.
Without second thought, so cold-blooded.
Oh,
And
horrendous.
again, you mourn the death of the Sabbat. Why is this?
Jean-Baptiste, keep your mouth quiet. You are very ignorant.
It is less
I
that
see.
I
Dorian
mourn.
chuckles at that.
It is less that I mourn their loss, and more that I am noting the lengths that he will go to keep his hold on this city. I would have thought that an intelligent man such as yourself would have understood that.
I believe the same. Are you not an intelligent man, Jean-Baptiste?
Well, I am.
Oh,
And I've
no,
said
do not
nothing
lie in the
incorrect.
Elysium, Jean-Baptiste.
I would never.
If lying was a rule,
Oh,
we
my...
would be given the final death now, wouldn't we?
I'm sure you are quite correct.
He does have a point. We cannot just have idle conversation, hypotheticals, and such. When push comes to shove, I do believe that a certain amount of physical pressure might be needed.
Lucretia
offering that
will
to you.
lean in. She will like pull her fan up, and with possible help from Julianne to create this like fan little private room, will say, Monsieur Remy, who apparently we would probably see leave down a hallway, is my movement to create cracks within the Sabbat. Some of them are unhappy with him. If we can sway them to our side, we are not merely the Camarilla.
We are their liberators.
We are the safe haven for those who could be at risk. If, I believe, we come together enough and we offer temporary sanctuary to the Sabbat who turn against Robespierre, I feel like we can get more of them to us.
That
You understand
is
that any Sabbat with any rationality would not come here.
Oh, you know how the Sabbat thinks? I think I would know better than you, Jean-Baptiste, in many, many things. So perhaps it would be best that you offer more yes than no. And then she'll lean back out.
This
And
is
as she
definitely-
leans back, I would like to use drawing out the beast, if I may.
Yeah, certainly. Go ahead.
I would also like to rouse for it.
Yeah, please do. Absolutely.
What is that?
It is level 5 animalism.
Whoa.
You make a rouse check. I will get you, Jean-Baptiste, to roll wits animalism, and Lucretia, roll your composure plus your resolve.
Lovely.
I failed one of my rouse checks because I aroused as well.
Yep.
I'm at blood potency 3, is it?
You only get rouse reroll up to level 2, so
Yes, it's
there's- yeah.
3 dice for blood surge though, right?
It is 3
Blood
dice for
potency
blood
3?
surge, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then an extra for power bonus as well.
An extra 1 for power bonus.
Yes.
Oh, baby. The dice. Okay.
They make things interesting.
Mm.
Damn. It's another crit, which is so exciting.
Okay.
Is it now?
And just a regular one. Just a...
Mm-hmm.
I'll be spending a willpower.
Yeah, this is very high risk. If you
Hmm.
fail, it's not good for
Crazy.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Time to get spicy.
Yeah. I've been
I'm-
thinking about using entrancement, but like I wouldn't use disciplines in an Elysium.
You can't use entrancement if someone's already adversarial towards you. And so it's going to be difficult for you to use it on Jean-Baptiste now because
Also,
you
it's
have...
it's a discipline. I'm not using a discipline.
Oh,
in
of
Elysium.
course, of
That would be
course.
rude and against the rules.
I'm on 7 successes at the moment with a crit as well.
Lovely. I have 9 with a crit success.
Is this how we're
So-
leaving it?
Am I able to spend multiple willpower?
Do you have additional
know.
dice to
I don't think you
cover? I
can.
don't think you can.
I think you
Okay.
can only willpower
can.
reroll one time.
Once per roll.
Yeah.
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 I did willpower and rouse as well to get
Mhm.
that 9.
Did you get
Well,
hungry?
Then that is how we will be
I
leaving
did
it.
not.
Very well.
Lovely.
In this case, because you have been butting heads so ferociously, Jean-Baptiste Tellier, as Lucretia fans her fucking face with that fan, she says these things to you after, like you said, you've spent so long trying your hardest to secure yourself in a way that you are ready to do what needs to be done at any given moment.
And generally just talk some fucking sense into her.
Indeed, that too.
Hmm.
Your fury overcomes you in this moment. And Lucretia, you probably see a light spark in his eyes. His movements change. Dorian, you see this sort of choleric energy kind of burst out of him almost. And as this happens, we'll take this opportunity to have a break for a few minutes.
Oh my god!
Ooh, thank you everybody for sticking around thus far. We will be back soon to see through whatever happens next, I guess.
It's a bar in a private room. Very exciting.
Thank you everybody so much for sticking around so far, and we'll be back soon. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with us so far through the break. I'm glad you're all here still, and let's just keep on going with the action. We will take a brief pause from the scene we see before us. Mael, are you here to witness this happen from your own vantage point as well?
Yeah, I think she would have thought about going outside again, but as she heard the things heating up, I think she would have probably joined all of the invisible other 30 people in this room. Um, in standing a bit away. She doesn't have heightened senses, so it's not that far away. But definitely listening in.
Great. You see all of this happen. The altercation between Lucretia and Jean-Baptiste. This tightening of his muscles, the widening of his eyes. as you see that. Remy, what are you doing? Are you heading to this private room? Are you not? What's your plan?
I think the timing might depend slightly.
Mm.
I think he was already going to head to that room right after Mael said something to him, so he might not have been present for this altercation starting up. It
Yeah.
kind of depends on how the parallel
Probably
streams
would have left
align.
just before it happened, I imagine.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's right. I think he would go into that room and just sort of wait for his compatriots to arrive.
Yeah.
It'd be like painting couches in all of your favorite colors and plums
Wow,
and
lovely.
blues. Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
and this painting, perfect.
Yeah, that's right. I'll say that you have to wait for quite some time. Perhaps that's to be expected, but eventually, this servant comes in, holds the door for Sebastian, Eleanor, and these three sort of ruggedly dressed, not at all appropriate for the particular occasion, come in and sit down in this room with you.
Now, who all exactly is here?
Good question. Give me a moment to answer that for
Sure,
you.
Sure.
Bhutan. Saint
No.
Oh, you mean my pack?
Danton.
Mm-hmm. The two that you recognize immediately are, of course, Sebastian and Eleanor. The
Mhm.
three others, you may actually... Actually, I'll say that you have probably seen them before. They are true Sabbat. They're not just shovelheads anymore. Their names are Axel, Michelle, and Veronique. They are young, newly initiated Sabbat. That probably more Sebastian than Eleanor, because Eleanor sticks very closely within your theater most of the time. Has sort of worked with on multiple occasions and has some sort of at least acquaintanceship of.
Are they a pack as well?
They are, the three of them are.
Okay, good.
Hmm.
Good. Um, I'll just sort of nod to them as they come in, and once the servant closes the door, I'll say, "Welcome. I imagine this is the last place you thought you would find yourselves this evening."
The one who's named Michelle,
Mhm.
he sort of shifts a little bit from where he's seated, jittery, eyes darting around, more angry than nervous, in terms of the way that he looks. And he says to you, "Indeed. Sebastian told us that we should come. We thought it was a joke, so we came and was gonna see if he was gonna try and jump us or something, but he was being serious. Why the
Yes.
fuck?" Look, we've been told since we ascended not. This is the one place you don't go.
Yes, quite right. You're afraid. I understand.
This is... It feels suicidal. It feels stupid.
I can understand that.
And that guy just... Anyway. Had
That guy.
the butler, whatever he was, very persuasive.
Is that right?
Yes.
How very interesting. Now, you should be on your guard, but if I may, I would like to allay at least some of your fears about what will happen this evening.
Right.
Tonight is a night you should feel privileged to attend.
Uh-huh.
Months, even years from now, members of our way will look back to this night as a turning point in the future of France. But more importantly, I think, the future of those who have a true devotion to the blood.
As far as we're concerned, things are pretty good for our sect at the moment.
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, where else in the world really has such a grip over things? As
I
far as
suppose.
I know, nowhere. Nowhere.
And how far do you know? Have you felt the clench of this grip?
I've seen it
Ah,
1,000 times a day. I've seen it.
of course, of course. Sebastian, have you felt that grip?
Very nearly.
Hmm. If all of you feel safe and happy and confident in your future as Canaanites here in the City of Lights, then by all means, you may walk out of this door, down that magnificent hall, and out of the gates, uncontested by these very persuasive guards. You will not be harmed. If you would like to leave, you may go.
Eleanor speaks.
Hmm.
Why did you ask us to come here?
You know, Eleanor, and those of you who do know me know that I do not often remove myself from the sanctum that is our theater.
I do.
I do not often overtly concern myself with the machinations of politics and the like. Every so often, those who dream greater, who would ascend to greater heights than those that can be lifted by crowns and kings and assemblies, every so often, an opportunity presents itself to wield such machines as a tool. And tonight is just such an occasion. And I would have bided my time for longer, content to wait in the dark. Or perhaps, as you would put it, Michelle, to bask in the light of revolution and warm my face on the funeral pyres of stodgy aristocrats, and to wet my teeth at the shed of the guillotine. You are right. We have never had greater power as a sect in our, admittedly, shorter lifespans. But of course, we have to ask, is the exercise of that power just? Is it truly furthering the cause of the blood that we serve? Does it ultimately honor our Dark Father? To be frank, they should not have come for Sebastian. That was a major error. It showed me something. It showed me that the people we are dealing with, and I use the term people, for they have become corrupted by the casual, petty values of the kind upon whom we dote and protect, and also subsist. I thought that we could bask in the glow of greatness. I fear I was mistaken. Sebastian was taken.
Eleanor looks between you, the other three, lingers her gaze on Sebastian for some time. What you're saying is treasonous and will get you killed if anyone in this room decides that they favor Robespierre's cult of reason over whatever it is you're proposing. What is
Then
it
we
that
are
you're
undone.
proposing?
Well then. Sebastian, Eleanor, Axel, Michelle, and Veronique. You are here, perhaps out of curiosity, but I believe you will stay because you want to find your voice. You have risen above the ranks of mere foot soldier, and you have survived. But you are no longer in a Paris that is hospitable to those who would find their own voice. Why, can I even leave my theater without worrying if one of my own pack has been taken on false whispers, shed as collateral in someone's own personal vendetta or deification? I may not be political, but in many ways I am devout, and I know what it means to serve Cain. I have seen the promise of true service in a realm greater than our own. And the power that we are invited to seek has become corrupted. And you are worried. Yes, you believe that we are small fingers standing against an entire great body that will remove us like an offending tumor, but you are mistaken. I have been sought out. And I believe that I have been entrusted with seeing to the removal of Maximilien Robespierre, but not alone. There are those all across this city, including many of our own persuasion, who are uncomfortable with how they spend their nights. Can any of you truly look at me and say that you have known no doubt, that you have met no Cainite who worries for their own skin when they speak, who fears that they cannot express themselves? Can you truly say that?
I'm gonna get you to roll manipulation plus occult.
Okay. I'm going to rouse the bloods.
Mm.
I'm hungry.
You
I'm at 3 hunger.
know what? Fair enough.
I am hungry. Okay, so that means okay, I think I have the appropriate number amassed. Okay. Going to spend a willpower and reroll 3.
I'm glad the significance of this is not lost on you.
No, brutal though. I turned 3 failures into 3 more failures. That's fine. But I got 4 successes.
Yeah, that's
but
great.
if it is a failure, it's a bestial.
Not a failure with 4 successes. Just a success. They look between each other a long while. They seem to share glances, amongst each other, as though they are somehow communicating non-verbally, if that's at all possible. And after significant moment, Veronique, who hasn't spoken yet, lifts her head and says, in the albeit short time I've spent reading about the word of Cain, the word by which we must ardently follow, you speak nothing but truth. A worship of humanity is contra to everything we must believe, fundamentally, and denying his divinity is destroying his ability to speak through us. I understand, but you said you have been approached. You are working for someone?
These nights, and for this purpose, we are working with many someones. To consider this an effort of a king and pawns is to play into the same game that Robespierre has made himself the one ruler of, an arbiter. And it is not one I will participate in. However, I will answer a call to arms, which I believe is going to be put forward. And no one else in this grand establishment believes the Sabbat will answer that call. But we can prove them wrong. Because you see, there are people, and then I've still got Sense the Unseen up, but I'm gonna lower my voice anyway. And I'm gonna say there are people who will see this as a moment to reassert their own dominance, to make their own grabs for power. And we do not need to fear them. No. The word of Cain will be as strong after Robespierre finishes his game as it was before. We are not removing the head of a great body, but excising a tumescent growth that corrupts it. And you will find before this night is done that those who we would call our enemies will ask us for help.
Eleanor speaks again. I can't disagree with a word you've said. And if it's true that we are banding together like this in an effort to return the streets of this great city to ones where we can walk freely, express ourselves freely, then, Remy, you know that I work with you night by night, and I will continue to do so forever. And if it's true, you've brought us here to entice a resetting, a pulling out of this weed, as you say, what would you have us do?
Do I have any idea of the clans of these other three? Are they Bruja, or is there one of
You
any of the
would
ones who's
not
put-
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I know that they run with Sebastian.
Yes.
I have before.
Mhm.
Okay. Know who you are first, and be true to yourself. The truth is seen, and will illuminate your soul and heal your wounds. words. That is what is written. But you see, the truth of who you are and yourself is not a divine singular person. We who have drank the cup know that our voice together is one voice, that we become ourselves in losing ourselves. But that is our strength. I have lost myself in the darkest night there is, but I have found the Dark Father there. And now I find myself again with you. So, what I ask you to do is to be ready. As you have been every night, look to yourself and look to each other. Serve each other, and I will serve you. When the time comes, and it will, and I mean imminently, in the next few nights, but when it comes, be ready, for you will not be alone. I will keep you close and closely advised. Mine is not a war of whispers. Any question you have of me, you may ask.
Silence among them for an extended period, and nothing. If this is farcical, and I can sense that it's not, Sebastian says, then what of it? We'll deal with it when it arises, but I can feel the truth in your words, Remy, and I can feel the need for change myself. I've seen it, felt it, lived it for some time, as you know. We will be ready. We are ready. Now we know what to be ready for. It only makes it more easy.
Good. Your pack, the strength that binds it, I can feel it almost as palpably as my own. There may come a time when I enlist your assistance to do a great working of the blood that I know how. Perhaps I will call on you then. But that is in service to a greater dream than even we pursue tonight. For tonight, gird yourselves. I expect we shall be called upon soon. But in any case, I will send word for you when you are needed. We are here among those who would feast upon themselves, and they know it not yet. But I suspect the already broken tower will crack further before it finally gives way. And when it attempts to rise, it will do so to meet our end. So, be not too taken in. Enjoy the art. You will not be harmed while you are here, but do behave yourselves.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You honor me with your presence.
And us with you. They all look contemplative, but there is a determination about them as they each leave the room and move as a group through the Palais Royal. And as this conversation ends, we head back to the group, wherein this change has exerted itself over Monsieur Hellier. Now, as you enter Fury Frenzy, in this moment, all of this, these stabs made towards you, these verbal barbs, what is it that you do? Do you want to leave the frenzy to run its course? Do you want to spend a willpower to regain control of yourself momentarily?
I will spend a willpower
Certainly.
initially. And
You have a round wherein you can act freely.
Jean-Baptiste, through his teeth, slightly too stiff, will bid the group his mid-conversation with, "Excuse me for a moment, I need to attend to something. And he will grab one of his herd who is still standing next to him and lead him towards the front door.
Certainly. Easy enough to get to the door, slip through and close it in a round. Does anybody else try to do anything?
Dorian has his fingers clasped very tightly around his cane, watching him leave. I don't think he would. If he's leaving on his own free will, I don't think he will follow or do anything.
Julianne would look at one of her many cherubs and look them in the eye, and then look at the front door, like where
he's gone.
and then back to them, and a polite like nod as she opens her fan again, and then returns back to the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, one of them sort of head out, of the front door, kind of, able to slip in as Hellier, opens it and leaves with this person of his, this one of his group. Yes, Mael.
Possibly at the same time, Maya will also take her leave and slip in after to follow
Love.
Henny.
Yeah, easy enough to do.
Is there perhaps anybody with the surname Corday in the room at the moment?
It's funny you mention that, actually. As this is all happening, as Remy leaves and everything sort of erupts momentarily after, as Jean-Baptiste is sort of slipping away as naturally as he possibly can, is when the sort of grand entranceway to... Actually, Jean-Baptiste, you would probably pass by this woman on your own way out as she comes in. This woman who looks in age to be about 40, dark hair that she has attempted to sort of style up a little bit, but it's very clearly done by her own sort of unskilled hands, wearing a very simple kind of dress, probably the nicest one that she owns. Mael, you slip obfuscated, sort of by her as well, and you see that as you slip by her, her eyes lock with yours, in this moment, and she doesn't react in any way to seeing you. She just sort of passes by, her eyes stare at you for a split second, and then move on as she goes.
Mael gives like a smile and just like a thing of like, I'll be right back, like 2 minutes, like.
Yeah, and she goes in to the room, just impassive as she passes by.
If I see her, I will give a little bow to Julian and be like, and Dorian, and be like, if you will pardon me, it seems we have a guest from the third sect here, as planned.
By all means, go and make them feel welcome.
Yes. Keep an eye on my husband for me. I would hate to have Jean-Baptiste lose his cool against the one person who could truly challenge him.
Through gritted teeth, Dorian will look at the two of you and look at the entrance, knowing exactly what's happened here, and just say, it's probably for the best. I've lost my appetite for conversation right now. As he's gripping tightly into his cane and he walks off.
Have a drink, Dorian. And she will glide across the room towards... It's Charlotte, isn't it?
Francine. Charlotte's dead.
Francine. That's right. Charlotte's her bestie from days back.
If that's the case, if Julianne has been abandoned by all conversational partners, I think she will actually reach out and clasp the hand of the one that is trying to leave. and will say, "Perhaps you should introduce them to me."
She will loop her hand through yours and be like, she takes this big breath, like she puffs up and she says, "Of course, mademoiselle. We must be on our best behavior. They feel quite threatened here. So we will be the comforting faces of which they can confide in."
A warm embrace.
Of course. And we'll head over to Francine.
Certainly.
Bonjour, Mademoiselle Francine. Thank you so much for coming. She's very humble with like her speaking.
I wasn't aware that you were the one who invited me.
It was an open invitation by
Was it?
my husband, Dominique.
Ah,
This is a safe place. Be aware that no disciplines can be used here, and you are an esteemed guest that will find no harm here.
I know
this
the
is-
rules of Elysium.
This is my counterpart, Mademoiselle Julienne Delio.
Charmed.
Likewise.
Now, I am sure you have thoughts, concerns that you would like to bring up.
My associate, my peer, Maëlle Cadieux,
Mhm.
do you know her?
Yes, I do. In fact, yes, I have met Mademoiselle Mia. Yes, I do know her.
I was under the impression that the invite was from her, you see. She was
Yes,
quite
it did
adamant about having a conversation.
Yes. Do you know what that conversation was about?
No idea. Only that it's important. Was wondering if you knew.
I
Since
do,
you
in
are
fact.
the benefactor of the open invitation and all.
Oh, that is my husband. But thank you very much. Perhaps we shall move over into this corner, as it is quite controversial. She'll move them over so that they're not the grand entrance as they talk about this.
Yeah.
Probably like poignantly so a portrait of Marie Antoinette in her like regular clothes or something like that.
You see her scowl. Like, dark scowl on her face.
Yeah. And she'll say, Mademoiselle, the situation that our sex have been in has not been ideal since the rise of the Sabbat.
No.
No.
All my friends are dead.
As are mine. But we must move forward where possible. And I feel it would be unfair for there to be a change, a positive change in Paris, and not bring those that began this. I was at the women's match, of course, and so I understand that there's a place where,
You were at the Women's March.
of course,
I didn't
as
see you.
women must band together.
She steps
No.
back and takes a big look at that portrait of Marie Antoinette as you say that.
Yeah.
You must have really been for the
Really did it.
cause.
Yes, of course. I understood that there was change that had to be made. And you are at the front of that, I believe, or at least the anarchs were. So I want to give you that march back symbolically.
Why, thank you.
There is going to be a movement very similar to that march, but it will be of kindred, of all three sects rising together.
Is that right?
Yes, and this is your informing of that movement and somewhat another personal open invitation to said movement.
Right. So you want to help, you want me to help you join with all three of the sects in some movement. Or what's the movement? What are we doing? What's it about? Enlighten me. I don't have many friends left.
Yes, The man that is the cause for that is what this movement is against. A removal of the supreme being, in essence.
Robespierre,
Yes.
you want to get rid of him.
And perhaps some of his lieutenants too. But most of all.
That's risky.
Most certainly, I would not be banding together all of these people if not hosting an Elysium during these times. Very dangerous, controversial.
I might be able to help. But
Oh,
look, I've got fuck all to lose.
of course. The Cordays and this revolution are. The thought.
My sister
deepest-
sacrificed herself to turn that piece of shit, Jean-Paul Marat, into some kind of messiah figure.
It was her belief that his death would change that was so emboldening that she did it on her own. I can only imagine how you feel all of it.
Pardon be to a member of your clan, Miss Julienne, but, fuck.
No, there have been losses on all sides, and I am so sorry that someone from my clan has taken part in your pain. I know what it is like to lose someone, many people.
Yeah.
This event, as beautiful as it is, my sweet, is a painful reminder. So though I cannot claim to know down to the smallest detail exactly how you feel, I understand at least a great amount of it. But that is why we must band together.
I appreciate it. Look, I'd love to help you. I would. But, you know, everybody knows that our territory has been wiped out completely. We jump from building to building, house to house, trying not to be caught by Robespierre, all of his people. We are like you, but without the money to fund this.
Yes.
I
I'd
have
be...
an idea.
Yes.
I do apologize for cutting you off, but hypothetically speaking, what if there was safe haven that opened up for you and yours
That is a
come in.
fantastic idea, mademoiselle.
To come in temporarily, to first and foremost take a moment to mourn those that you lost. Then, after that is done, to draw up plans. We have a tumultuous history. We do not agree on many things, but I think the one thing we can agree on is that this must not continue. You cannot be just left to the pyres to jump from roof to rooftop until you inevitably fall into the maw of horror. No. If I had the ability to take you all in, even if only temporarily.
Yes. And I can speak with Monsieur Dominique. We have the room.
Look, I appreciate it. And hell, I'll take you up on it. It's a great offer. But I'm gonna work better if I have the means to fight at my disposal, which right now, I have none. It was a trek enough to get over here to begin with. Thought I was going to die at least 5 times. There is an old factory down south. We used to run it. It's been taken over by many different people. Now Robespierre owns it. Of course he does. Uses it to make weapons, ammunition, etc., etc. All stuff that will be really useful if you want to deal with this problem. Much better in our hands than his, right?
Yes, most certainly.
If we can find a way to work together with all of these resources you have, and all of the drive that me and the people that remain of mine, if we can find a way to make that work, that'll tell me that I'm not walking into my death trap.
Of course.
I already
And I'd
have
be
an
happy to
idea.
help.
Yes.
The recent slaughtering of Camille and Georges Danton,
Mm.
they were well liked.
Oh, yeah.
Those that, by their vanquishing, a ripple was created. Two, in fact. With a little assistance, those ripples can turn into tsunamis, tidal waves. If they were liked even a fraction as much as we think they were liked, then friends, families, acquaintances, contacts, they can be
Lot even.
influenced. Two people that were liked so very much. I think
I have information, in fact, that a fellow Sabbat was imprisoned wrongfully. They are attacking their own people.
That's evidence by Danton and Demelon being...
Yes.
Yeah.
then perhaps the reclaiming of the factory,
Yeah.
we can start there. Use their butchery against them. Turn their people against them. Give you what is yours so that you can help all. I
Bring hope.
Pardon?
Bring hope.
Indeed.
Yes. I cannot bear another loss of my children.
No. Nor can I. We're alike in that way. Disturbingly enough.
And what if I could give you... The Anarchs have been the focus of adversary with Robespierre.
Yeah.
What if I could give a different target so that your people are less focused on?
What kind of
A
target?
risk on my end. A risk as tall and as white as an ivory tower.
You want to put the target on your own head?
Would it get your support?
Yes.
We are a most delicious bait. They have been warring against us even longer than they have been warring against you. We have the resources to, at least for a time,
Hold them
endure a
off.
siege.
Hmm.
But you must come good on your agreement.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Nobody wants to see him gone more than me.
But
Nobody.
what can you bring? How many people are you?
With the pull I have? With the kine? A few thousand?
I think it is less about how many of them there are left, and more how hot their passion burns, don't you think?
Yes. I have been around Mademoiselle Miel,
Mm.
and there is a drive for sure, but hesitancy to use it. I need to be sure that that hesitancy is removed when this target is painted.
I can assure you on Miles' eagerness to act. I wouldn't put the word hesitancy in the same sentence as her.
Perhaps. But I also ask, is there going to be a moral dilemma if the Sabbat get involved?
Look, if they want him gone, I'll do my bit. If I get territory, if my people are safe after all this is done, it's better than it is now. So,
Yes. I would like, just off the record, if all of this goes well, that you and I be on good terms, at least. I would not like to paint this target for you then to take aim with all of these weapons.
if you're offering me the chance after all of these years to get rid of the man who orchestrated the death of my sister, who orchestrated the death of thousands and thousands of people, many of whom were my friends, then the last thing I'm going to do is try to off you, Madame.
I appreciate those words, and I will take you at them. I have great respect for the Corday name. But it is words I must hear myself. These times are uncertain at best.
Fair enough.
Thank you. I shall take your word. They shall begin painting this target.
All right.
Um, I will see how Helia's situation unfolds before.
Before we go there,
Mhm.
is there anything that Dorian does here?
He is going to seek out Remy.
Yeah, certainly. Does Remy head back to the hall after his conversation?
Remy will ask the folks who are with him in that room to come out with him.
Okay.
And just sort of casually move through the space as guests. And then before coming out of the room, though, he'll just say to all of them, "Remember, the walls have eyes and ears, and you are never alone. But you are always together." And then walk out and just sort of lead them over to a place and sort of point to some art that he was looking at and sort of be the friend usher kind of in this way and like move them in.
Punch bowls over here. There's like
Yeah,
a
you
large
know.
bean bag with like 4 people just like half past.
Yeah. Dorian, you find Remy in this situation. He has a group of 5 kindred with him, showing them around the Palais Royal.
Dorian is still tightly gripping his cane at this point. He looks over and he says, Remy, old chap.
Monsieur Evariste. A
May
pleasure.
I bend your ear for a moment? Was there a private quarters we could talk?
Why, I believe this place is composed almost entirely of them, this grand chamber notwithstanding. Please, you shall find my ears most flexible. And I'll wave to the 2 packs and sort of saunter off. Remy's got a cane as well, but he's holding it very loosely. Kind of jauntily strolling along.
There's very much a tenseness off Dorian. It's probably he's not trying to hide it at all.
No, it tracks. Yeah, it reads.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as there's privacy.
Oh yeah, lead them to a room, maybe even the same one as before.
Yeah, why
Probably
not?
a closer one. It's probably more pastel pinks and baby blues instead of the richer ones.
And on your left,
Yeah.
Dorian will say, I did not miss this, to be honest.
No, you strike me as one for more active pursuits.
Indeed. Sorry, I have found kinship in your clan before. I try
Truly.
not to stereotype. I just feel lost away. and I'm hoping you might help anchor me, but how is the theater going?
It's delightful of you to ask. Thank you. It has been booming. Seems the people are much more eager to voice their explicit tastes, to ask for what they want. The audacity is charming. We just do our best to give it to them.
A chance of escapism in a dreadful time.
Ah, yes, you see, I quite tend to think that what most think of as escaping is really rather a return.
Turn.
To what we know is real. Passion. Drive.
Passion, drive. Quick question. I am aware of his affiliation, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I would like to thank your invitation those many years ago and that awkwardness in Elysium. I did visit, although stayed in the shadows. Man of my station, couldn't be seen partaking in such revelry.
Ah,
But
well, if you were a shadow, you were in good company in a theater.
indeed, it was rather enjoyable. I will admit that.
Why,
Well
thank
done. Bravo.
you.
But
It is a source of some small pride for me, and I do appreciate it. But you have some greater matter of import to discuss, I sense.
may I be frank with you?
We are in France.
I appreciate honesty, above all. And I'm surrounded by snakes.
And what on earth has been transpiring in your garden, monsieur?
I don't even know if it's my garden anymore.
Once the wielder of the flaming sword, now you look at its face.
Indeed. I used to tend to this garden very well. Used to know how to move around. Used to hold respect. But tonight, I watched as two peacocked and pushed their way into tempting another kindred into action. And well, that doesn't sit right with me now.
Dangerously close to a line one does not cross in such company, if my etiquette serves me.
I would have thought the Camarilla would have been better than this, but perhaps that was naivete on my end.
Ah, well. If there is one thing I know about the Camarilla, is that it loves casting aspersions upon the Camarilla.
And how goes the Sword of Cain? I hear rumor of you rallying the troops.
You are a soldier. You have a soldier's instincts.
Indeed.
I have seen and marked your passage tonight as a play in two acts. In brief, the first act, the march of a soldier, one who is comfortable in his ranks, surveying his barracks, finding the loyalty of his lines, knowing they will not break. And if I may be frank, at the moment I feel everything in you that boils over as angst and frustration boils over in me as excitement and anticipation. My sword is sharp.
Excitement and anticipation.
Indeed.
What brings you to that conclusion?
Well, it is only an intermission, for now we are about to begin your second act of the evening. This frustration, this anger you feel, how would you see it resolved?
What bothers me is that There is a problem here. A problem in our dear city. You and I both know that. And yet everyone is tiptoeing around it, trying their best to not only push to fix the problem, but also to bring their own station up at the same time. It's a very dangerous act, a very careful balancing act, one perhaps I'm not tuned to anymore.
I can understand that. Well, bloodshed greases the wheels of their progress, I suppose.
What will you do? What would you want to do to solve our current conundrum?
You know that it is a strange thing for me to be here. I suppose it is a strange thing for all of us to be here tonight. Even you who were so used to doing so at your leisure in years past.
It was never for my leisure, it was for business.
I think for a good soldier, the two are always one and the same. But I do not think it is a mere coincidence that I and mine have taken it upon ourselves to take this risk to be here tonight, that you and yours have decided to come out from waiting, from keeping your powder dry, as it were. I believe the moment you're referring to is arriving, and I think you have seen, or else I mistake you, that there are soldiers of many stripes aligning themselves to where they are not accustomed.
And I have many other soldiers in my retinue as well to add to the fodder if I could be swayed. At the moment, my feeling within the Camarilla is one of distance.
Distance.
It pains me to say so, but watching these snakes devour within and bite and whisper in ears, it all reminds me too much of how it used to be. And how it used to be is how exactly we got to this point in the first place.
You have a vision for something new.
Indeed.
Please, share it with me.
This hierarchy, this grab for power, it all ends the same. It all ends with someone trying to stab somebody else's back. We're busy trying to rally the troops, and all they can talk about is, we have no prince. That shouldn't be the first concern at this stage. So, I wish to reduce the importance of that, perhaps, and to reduce the hedonistic feelings that the Camarilla have that led us to this place where people could rebel.
Pleasure for its own sake is a trifle. That is not passion. There is a difference. One has a nobility. The other is a distraction. You are not a man for distractions, I can see.
No.
I'm glad that you told me this. Frankly, you find yourself with no need for a prince. So do I. And yet here we are, the Sword of Cain. Who has one? How did this come about?
arrogance, perhaps. And also the snakes in the garden.
Do you know what the snakes in the garden really represent? The thing that priests don't want to share with their flocks. The snake is humanity. That is what the devil has always been. That which humankind are afraid they are. Obviously, you want to behead that snake. You have no use for it anymore. You are something greater.
I can see right through your speech, good sir.
Ah, have I stepped onto stage? Forgive me.
No,
Old
it is
habits.
fine. Although some ideals speak true to me, there's the problem of control, and none may control me.
Well then. That, it seems, is a good enough reason for you to take up arms. While he may not be your prince, there is one who does, with his every whim, control you. Isn't that so?
You speak of the Dark Father, I assume.
Oh, I would not insult that title by applying it to the creature of whom you speak. I
Oh,
believe.
sorry, miscommunication.
No. Of course. Here we are, playing their own game, speaking in circles. Afraid to get to the point. Not like either of us, I think. I will be, if I may, frank again with you,
I
Sheriff.
appreciate frankness.
I believe that there are those, both within and without my sect, who will move on Robespierre. And I believe, if I have interpreted you correctly, that if the star that signaled his demise shone bright in the sky, you would be there to see it.
It would be a very loud move.
Indeed.
And for me to rally my forces to be by your side, well, it would require a lot of. It would require me to expose myself, as it were. Leave
Indeed.
myself in the open. For that risk, I'm afraid I must ask you for a favor.
And here I thought the ivory tower was no more.
No, this is not for the ivory tower. This is own personal gratification.
Very well. What is it I can do for you?
What do you know of the child of Yoris Kothun? Sorry, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly.
Georges
It's
Couthon?
Georges Couthon. Mhm.
Georges Kothon.
One of his children.
You, Remy, probably
Mhm.
didn't even know that he had one.
I'm not going to let that on
Mm.
right away.
That's just a out of
Yeah,
character
that's
thing.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know.
Oh yeah, which one?
I think Dorian will just leave it hanging and wait to see what the response is.
Mm-hmm.
Is there some grievance you need to remedy?
Cause significant distress upon my person.
You wish to know this person's...
I wish to simply know where this person sleeps. So, well, I need not tell you the gory details, but that is all I'm asking. Information on them, on him.
Very well.
And
It
with
is...
that, I will give you, if you provide me with that, you will have my support.
Consider it done.
I didn't even have to sweeten the deal.
If you have seen what I have seen, you would know how sweet it already is.
Well, who would have thought? Myself consorting with the sect I once called my enemy.
Yes, well,
That leads me to my second point. What do you know of Louis Antoine de Saint-Just?
I look to see if he appears when you say his name. No? For I have heard that said of the devil.
You think him the devil?
Oh, it's not always such the insult coming from me. Without going into gory details, I can say that I saw Citoyen Saint-Just 24 hours ago.
I have a interest in this particular Cainite. If I could speak with them, that'd be most interesting.
That is a conversation I would love to overhear. Interesting indeed. The nature of our motive makes all contact with that pack difficult, fraught. In some ways, this might be of equal danger to your first request. But I will say, the most efficient means of a conversation with Citoyen Saint-Just is to be thrown into prison.
Well, you called him the devil earlier.
Yes.
What is your real read on him without using such provocative terms?
Saint-Just is strong. A formidable personage. I would not cross him lightly.
If you can move heaven and earth to arrange a meet with him in a clandestine room somewhere, I can also guarantee my hounds. They're still loyal to me.
I see. I will consider this. And if I can arrange for such a thing, I am certain that his first question will be one of venue. Where is it you are comfortable meeting? Would you go to him?
Vic, we would be the most neutral place.
Neutral place doesn't really
Harry?
exist.
I know,
Doesn't
yeah,
exist.
but like somewhere that's like not,
Yeah. Somewhere that's not like his home turf, so to speak.
his home turf or my home turf.
Yep. The best place would probably be a shop or a cafe or a bar or something like that where it's in the public domain, not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's what I will say.
Very well.
And who knows? Perhaps he can bend my ear like you've tried to.
Well, I'm sure he's very persuasive.
Thank you so much for your time.
The honor, as always, is mine. I look
I
forward to your third act.
We shall see how it plays out. Thank you. Goodbye. I think Dorian's just going to stay in the room and wait for him to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah, Remy will leave. Remy's feeling hungry. So
Yeah,
he might wander
absolutely.
over to one of the feeding areas.
Yeah, great. I will let Dorian leave, and if there's one last thing you'd like to do, what is it? How would you go about it?
It's a very simple thing. while Dorian is in this room, after having talked, he's just going to look at his cane and he's going to look at a reflective surface. I'm assuming there's one somewhere in this room.
Plenty.
And he's going to see the way he's dressed, this opulent thing that's been ill-fitting and that he's been fidgeting with while he's been out of... And he just kind of puts down his cane and just takes off his wig, which I would do, except I have to take my headphones off to do it. Takes off his wig and his coat and just leaves it and walks off out of Elysium, done for the night.
Beautiful. And with an almost biblical exodus, which mirrors the conversation just had in a myriad of ways, we will leave all of these conversations hanging. We will leave the frenzy, the silent, invisible spectators of Jean-Baptiste's frenzy hanging. We'll leave the conversation, the promise of alliance between the Camarilla and the Anarchs for the moment. And we'll pause this scene for now and come back to it again next session. Thank you everybody so much for coming, playing with us, being with us for this. It's been a very tense sequence of events, and I'm really eager to see how they progress and resolve themselves. Lots of talking this session. Thank you everybody for sticking by it. I'm Beck. I've been your storyteller for this session, and before we head off, I'll get you all to introduce yourselves again. Let us know who you are, what you're up to, where we can find you, all of the above.
I'm Adam. I've been playing Remy, your pack priest Malkavian, Sabat Malkavian, and you can find my Shakespeare-inspired D&D stream at Bardic Inspiration, info just below. Thanks so much.
I'm Jack. I've been playing Madame la Comtesse de Visage, the Camarilla Toreador. I'm at Dr. Radiance. It's just my personal account stuff.
Hi, I'm Syrinx. I've been playing Mael, the Anarch gangrel of this group, and you can find me as Syrinx on Twitter and Instagram and all such things.
Hello, I'm Chris, unemployed writer. I've been playing Dorian Everast, the Toreador sheriff. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. You can find me on Roleplay Nights with PLAYE, where we run Fracturing of Chicago and other things in the future.
Hi, I am Satanic __ Bunny, because I'm different, and I played Julien de Leon, the Nosferatu Herald, who is genuine and honest and everything. And I'll speed through it quickly. I am starting streaming much more regularly now on Satanic __ Bunny here on Twitch. I am Satanic Bunny 2 on Twitter, and I will be covering the now released VTM Blood Hunt and next month VTM Swan Song. So all the VTM.
So excited for that.
Yes.
I am Tom. I've been playing the ex-gangrel primogen Jean-Baptiste Hellier. And if you want, you can find me on Twitch at Platman22, where I stream an average of once a year.
Oh gosh, and I'm back again. I've been your storyteller. Thank you everybody so much for coming, and I am super duper eager to continue the fiasco next session. Thank you everybody so much. I hope you have a great day / evening, and take care. Bye.